How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to That Car Vlog channel. If you don't already know, my name is Andy, and it's been a minute since there's been a video on the channel. In fact, the last video that went up on the channel was March 8th of this year, 23. And I'm sure that there's at least 2, maybe even 3 people wondering where in the hell I've been lately. So this video is going to kind of serve 2 purposes. It's not going to be as car related as most of my videos, this being a car channel. However, I want to kind of explain what in the world's been going on, where I've been, and more importantly, explain to everybody the vast importance of something known as renter's insurance. So let's just jump right in. As you can see right now, I'm actually hauling something. I'm in my Dakota. We have recently moved, and this is the last stage of that move, is hauling my old 76, that old Chevrolet back here on the trailer, to the new location. And my V8 Dakota is doing that, and this thing is already proving to be just the absolute champ. I don't know what it is. I love this truck. This thing is so great. But here's the introduction to the video. I'm not going to shoot very much while pulling this truck because I do want to be safe. I will continue this once I get done pulling the truck. Okay, so here we are, different car, different shirt, different day. Dakota got the Chevrolet home just fine, no problems, did it masterfully, just like the beautiful first-gen Dakota that it is. So not a big deal there. Now, like I was saying a minute ago, this is not going to be as car of a car video as I would normally make. Obviously, this is a car channel. However, if I find an opportunity to make a video that I feel could possibly help people out, I'm going to try to make that video. And in this case, this is one of those videos. So like I said a second ago, I want to talk about the insane importance of renter's insurance. Now, of course, if you're a homeowner, then you have homeowner's insurance, and well, you probably know all about that and the importance of that. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who rent their homes instead of buying. There's a lot of people renting who may not have renter's insurance. Now, there are some places that require you to have it, some apartment complexes require it, but for the most part, you know, it is just a thing you can choose to have or not to have. Now most places you're renting, the owner, the landlord, they're going to have insurance on the property, on the building. That way, you know, if fire damage or water damage, whatever happens, it'll repair their building. But that may not cover your stuff inside, and that's why you want renter's insurance. But aside from protecting the things that you have in that rental home, one other huge thing that a lot of renter's insurances offer is coverage for loss of use. And that's the biggest reason I'm making this video right now, is because of a very recent personal experience that I and my family just went through, where loss of use had to be implemented. And so we're going to take a nice little tour in this video. I'll talk to you all about exactly what happened and where we're at now, how we got there, and how this renter's insurance really helped us, because I assure you, if we hadn't had renter's insurance, we would have been in a world of hurt. All right, and here we are at the old place. So this is where we lived for the past 8 years. This has been the backdrop of several videos over the last 6 years, actually. I started the channel in 17. We moved here in March of 2015, which at the time was an absolute godsend compared to the situation we were in before that, and I'm not going to talk about that one. But this is what it looks like now. We are out. It is empty. Landlord's already got his tractor parked under there. This is all getting repurposed, torn down and repurposed. Anyways, let's go inside and I'll show you guys exactly. I'll tell you guys the story of what happened. Okay, so here we are inside the master bedroom. Yes, it is this small. My wife and I shared this for 8 years. It's also completely empty, so please pardon the fact that it's going to be an acoustic nightmare. So anyways, rewind to February 1st of this year, 2023. It's 1 a.m. Wife and I are in bed asleep, and we start hearing loud electrical noises. There's a big pop. Oh, we looked over here at our electrical panel, and I've got the cover off the front of it. Now I have the cover off the front of it. When we looked over here at the electrical panel, this main breaker was smoking. Now, it wasn't on fire, and as it turns out, it wasn't actually it didn't have any juice running through it by the time we noticed it smoking. But I still ran over and just slammed that switch down because like I'm not taking a risk of burning this place down with us in it. So 1 a.m. we call the landlord and they say, that sounds like something probably happened outside. Call the electric company, come inspect it. So we called the electric company. They come out and they start looking right out here. So right here is our electric pole. This is the utility pole that all the electric, you know, the electric box is on. Obviously, you can see right there. And down the hill through the woods there is another pole with a transformer on it. So they came out here, they did some testing. They found that the breaker on that transformer on that pole had been tripped. They also noticed that the overhead neutral wire running to our pole had been damaged. I guess it was just more of a coincidence. I'm not really sure exactly what happened. And it was a rainy, windy night, so something probably blew over and damaged the wire. So they repaired that neutral wire. They pulled our meter off, and it's sitting over there on top of that mouse trap box. They pulled the meter off, reset the repaired the neutral, reset the breaker, you know, so that the other 8 houses on that transformer can have power. And then they went and tried to reconnect our meter. Now we still had this switch off. We didn't turn it back on, but one of the guys came in here and stood with us while the other guy out here tried to reconnect the meter. The absolute second that he made contact with that meter, it threw massive sparks. You could hear electricity inside of this conduit that runs into the house and into the box. You could actually, I mean, it was loud. You could hear whoosh, and it tripped that transformer breaker again. At which point they said, yeah, there's a problem somewhere between this box and that box. We can't do anything. So they climbed back up here, cut our power lines, and so we're going to have to get an electrician out here. I would also like you to observe one very sketchy thing here. You see there is a come along right there tied to that tree. Yeah, it's holding up that utility pole. If we were to somehow be able to take that off, that pole would fall over. That's gonna matter here in a minute. Okay, now that I've actually shown you the equipment and what failed, how does this translate to a loss of use case? So like I said, and I want to set this timeline just because, you know, I find it relevant. February 1st, 1 a.m. this is when this took place. So the electrical company checks it out, tells us we got to get an electrician in there. So we promptly call the landlord back, and they say they're going to call around when, you know, businesses begin opening, and they'll get somebody out there as soon as possible. So in the meantime, we're like, what are we going to do? I had to call into work because I knew I was going to have to deal with some stuff. I was going to have to do something with all of our cold food and stuff and whatnot. We figure this is probably going to take a few days, maybe a week to fix. We don't know exactly what's going on, what's going to happen, right? So that night, the night of the 1st, we had some friends let us stay over a night at their place, and it was a huge blessing, and I'm very thankful to them for that. But anyway, landlord got the electrician out there, and he started looking at all this stuff, and he told them it was going to cost $5,000 at least to fix. So what they were going to have to do is replace the feeder wires that run from the outside box through the conduit into the inside box, plus the inside box, plus the outside box, and the pole it was on, because once all that was fixed, they'd have to get it inspected. And a pole tied to a tree with a come-along is not exactly something that's going to pass code. Well, as you can imagine, a single-wide mobile home from God only knows when back in the day isn't worth a lot. In fact, that place is actually in such rough shape. I didn't show you any of it because I didn't want to. But that place is in such rough shape. The cost to fix that definitely is more than what the trailer is worth. It's really best at this point to just scrap the whole place and, you know, just get the scrap value out of it. So because of that, the landlord said, I'm not fixing this. You know, he says, I'm not putting this kind of money into this place. It's not worth it. It's getting demolished. Once you guys get your stuff out of here, it's getting demolished, period. That began the most stressful 2.5 months of my life, of our lives. So here's where the renter's insurance loss of use comes into play. And this is one of the biggest reasons you really want renter's insurance. We had to find a place to go while we looked for a place to move. Now, we were already planning to move this year, just not under these circumstances. So wife got to talking to the people at Renters Insurance. She's filed a claim, got a personal agent to deal with it, just like with a car insurance claim. And so they ended up, the insurance paid for us to stay in a hotel for several weeks. In fact, clear into the beginning of March, we were in that hotel for about 4 to 5 weeks. Being in a hotel meant we also couldn't cook food, so we had to buy a lot of food, take out, eat out, delivery, whatever. Which, you know, that adds up. That costs a lot of money. Now, the renter's insurance paid for 2 hotel rooms. One for 3 of us, me, wife, and the kid, and the one for her mom and stepdad, because we do all live together, all 5 of us. They paid for 2 hotel rooms, and it was one of those things where you had to continually report back to them and, you know, show them proof, you know, that you were actively looking for a place to move to, and you weren't just, you know, milking them for all they're worth. So we started, of course, an active search for places to move to, rent, maybe to buy. We really didn't think we were going to be able to buy anything. So yeah, the insurance paid for that hotel, those hotel rooms, and with receipts, they also reimbursed food cost, which is a great help. So about 4 or 5 weeks passed, we still haven't found anything. I'll tell you what, the rental and home buying market is, as a whole, it's insane. Everything's insanely expensive. Anyways, after about near the end of those 5 weeks, we started thinking, I wonder if they would put us in an Airbnb instead. You know, that way we'd have a stove, we could cook. It'd just be a better living arrangement. Turns out, yes, they could. And so they actually put us up in an Airbnb in Knoxville for 3 weeks, 21 days, up until March 20th. Which actually came out better for us and the insurance company, because that entire Airbnb cost about as much as 1 hotel room per night. So it actually came out better for everyone involved, that Airbnb. Now, like I said, we were looking at rentals, we were looking at the possibility of buying, but with our credit history and, you know, the amount of money we had down, we were like, there's no way that we're going to qualify to buy a home. Turns out we did. It's called a USDA loan, also known as a rural development loan. And we ended up working with some amazing realtors. If you're ever looking for property in East Tennessee, especially the Knoxville surrounding areas, check out, look up Lisa and Mark with the Flannigan Group. They are amazing people to work with, and they bent over backwards to help get us into a place. So March 20th, the Airbnb was up. We would have had to find a place to go. It just so happened that our realtors found us a place in Huntsville, Tennessee. Now, we were living in Clinton, Tennessee, and staying in Knoxville during all this ordeal. Our realtors found us a place in Huntsville, Tennessee, not Alabama. Everybody says Alabama when I say Huntsville. I understand why. But no, Huntsville, Tennessee. And it's an hour from Knoxville. It's a distance. But they found us a place. The seller had already moved to Knoxville and was in the process of moving their stuff and trying to sell the place. I don't know how many people are familiar with the idea of early occupancy when it comes to buying a house, but essentially what it is you make an agreement with the seller to pay them an X amount of money in exchange for them allowing you to just go ahead and stay there until you close on the property. And the seller of this house was amazing. She agreed that we would make that agreement, so we paid her some money, and we started moving our essential things in there to stay there. We were there for a bit, almost an entire month. Monday, April 17th, we closed on this place. And I mean, I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am at the fact that my wife and I qualified for a freaking house. It's just amazing. And this is one of those situations where it's a blessing disguised as a curse. You know, we had that little 2-bed trailer we were all living in, and it, like I said, in 2015, it was a godsend compared to the situation we were in, but now it was time to get out. And what we're in now has a lot more space, and it's much more suited. Now, I don't have a good place to work on my truck, to do much vehicle work. I don't have a covered space for that. but I do have a second storage shed on the property that's going to be my workshop. So heck yeah. But the whole reason for this entire story is to let y'all know that first and foremost, why renter's insurance is so important. Because if we had not made the decision to buy renter's insurance, which only added, and I could be remembering wrong, the wife told me once, like $10 a month to our premium. $10. It's worth more than you could ever imagine, because I mean, they paid out thousands of dollars in food reimbursement and in, you know, money for us to stay places during this process. If we hadn't had that renter's insurance, we would have been completely screwed. I mean, there's just no way around that. There's no other word to use. Well, there are other words to use, but I'm not going to use them in a YouTube video. We would have been royally screwed. We would have been, I mean, almost homeless. And for a little over 2 months, you could technically almost say we were. But not exactly, you know. You've heard the story. You understand what I'm saying. But seriously, if you are renting a place and you are not purchasing renter's insurance, dear God, you're doing yourself a favor in getting it. It's one of those situations where it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. We'd probably be living in the car at this point, because all of our money would have gone to eating and staying places. So that's the number one takeaway from this, is if you don't have renter's insurance, get it. And make sure you go over the specific details of what that insurance will cover, what situations that it'll help you out in. Is it just, you know, loss on personal items, or is it a loss of use of the property, where if you were to, you know, lose use of it, is that going to help you out? And secondly, the second point that I didn't set out to make in this video, but I think it's a good one, is if you don't think you qualify to purchase a home, do some research. Do some heavy research into the different loan options that are out there. Find yourselves a good realtor. Like I said, if you're in the area I'm in, you know, look up Mark and Lisa at the Flannigan Group. They've been truly amazing. And, you know, just do some heavy research. Our credit is not horrendous, but it's not amazing either. If you don't think you qualify, there's a chance you might, actually. Alright, so I'm going to wrap the video there. I'm not going to ramble on, and honestly, I think I've said all I need to say without, you know, putting too much personal information into the video. If y'all have made it this far, you've watched it this far, thank you very much, and I hope that this information is valuable to you or to someone you know or love. I can't stress it enough. Renter's insurance, it's like the Boy Scouts say, be prepared. And, you know, it's the best. Preparedness is worth its weight in gold. It really is. It really is. Anyways, guys, well, like I said, if you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around and watching. Remember, this is actually a car channel. I do make videos about cars. I've not had one up in a while because of all this going down. In fact, we finished moving, but there's still a lot of unpacking and sorting and, you know, all the finite details of a move to go. So it might still be a little while before I get a video put up after this. But this is a car channel, so if you want to see what's on this channel, if you've not been here before, jump back over to the main channel page, check out some of my videos on the channel. You might actually find something you like. I've got car reviews, I've got repairs, videos on family vehicles, car shows, what have you. So you might find something you like on the channel. And if you like what you see there, you just want to see more from me, you're curious what I've got going on, subscribe to the channel. That way you'll know when videos go up. Anyways, thanks y'all so much for watching, and I really hope this video is helpful for you or somebody out there that really needs it. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.